Imagine you're a young, ambitious product manager who just landed on a role with a company that stuck with the old legacy app. We are falling behind, they say. Our customers are leaving. What should we do, young, ambitious product manager? You take one look at their app, a digital antique from 15 years ago, untouched, unimproved, and the solution clicks. Let's do a major redesign, you suggest with a spark of confidence. It seems like an obvious fix. They're excited, let's do it. But please don't change the logic behind the features. Our users won't like it, in other ends. So let's change the colors without touching anything else, okay? Welcome to the legacy apps paradox. The more an app needs redesign, the harder it is to make it really happen. In this video, I'll explain how to deal with the tricky problem of updating old apps that people are used to. To start with, users hate redesigns. Doesn't matter if you spend ages testing out or if it's obviously better and easier to use. The day after you launch, you wake up to a storm. To hundreds or thousands of complaints from pissed off users saying how much they hate the new stuff. It's just granted. It happens every time to the best of us. Unless it's in a sponsored press release, that's typically how media talks about redesigns. The Slack redesign has ruined my life. Sorry, I can't work today. Here's why Snapchat users are so upset about its recent redesigns. At best, you get something like GitHub code search redesign cannot find many fans. So why do people dislike redesigns to their core, even if they are much better than what came before? Users hate change. People hate change. They are used to how old product works. They have certain expectations about its appearance and how to use it. A fresh redesign will be a worse design simply because it's new and thus breaks the expectations. Think about the stress of suddenly not knowing how to use a familiar product because it looks different. Experienced users all of a sudden feel like beginners again, which is frustrating to say at least. Tasks get done slower and established routines get disrupted. Depending on how drastic your redesign was, users will spend a fair chunk of time and resources on relearning how to use your product, even though the old version worked just fine. But people don't like to spend time learning. They want to spend time doing. As you can see, redesigns frustrate users. Companies hate frustrating their users, so they hate major redesigns. The older the app and the larger its user base, the stronger their pushback against user experience redesigns inside the team. If it works, they say, don't touch it. Change the colors and call it a day, they say. As time ticks on, their app accumulates new features that just don't mesh with the old UI UX. The app turns into confusing patchwork, sort of like a Tower of Babel, especially for new users. Eventually, the product team finds itself cornered in a tough spot. Should they risk alienating loyal users with a redesign that rebuilt the app from top to bottom, or miss out on attracting new users by keeping things as they are? As a UX design agency, we see this dilemma all the time. Take one of our clients, DataStreams. DataStreams is a huge old Korean data management company that is aiming to expand globally. They already tried once, but with no success. It turned out that their ancient UI UX design doesn't match global standards. So they had to give their design a makeover, and that's where Eleken came in. We did it in several iterations, in a way that didn't stress out their existing customers. With that said, let's get into some actionable advice here. Can you revamp your app with minimal risks? If the new version works better, people will eventually grow to like it. Thus, customers' complaints are not a reason to avoid rebuilding old apps. They're simply a reason to make gradual modifications. The best way to reduce problems with change is to reduce change. Don't have all the updates shipped simultaneously. Go step by step and allow users to switch as seamlessly as possible between the old and new. Let me show you how it works and on a real-life redesign of a food tech app called SpoonFed. The app was developed and designed more than 10 years ago, in 2013, and hasn't changed since then. The original design didn't work well with the later added features. The product required a complete transformation that was going to be a huge stress for the existing customers. So we decided to break the redesign project into tiny updates, appearing one by one. Small changes are much easier to handle for users and they won't feel as interrupted. So instead of one massive update in 6 months, we introduced a sequence of small changes over the course of 6 months. That helped to slowly prepare users for the future new look. improve usability almost instantly, not in 6 months. Test redesign with users and correct it before investing a lot in its final version. Let me show you what a tiny step looked like. The layout of this page had been created a while ago, and design standards had moved on since then. The page is narrow and it leaves lots of unused space on the sides. By moving the menu to the left, we made use of this free space and simplified navigation. Within several months, a final design with a left-sided menu was rolled out. It was already something familiar, so Spoonfed avoided frustrating their customers. One more thing you can do to help customers migrate is to offer a strong support materials. Whenever you release a new big update, prepare a kind of onboarding flow. Add models with explanations or tooltips. Make video tutorials available and easy access to real-time human support for any users that are still struggling. When users are complaining about your flashy new design, listen to the feedback they are giving. If after redesign people have problems with many different things, it's okay. They're going to adapt. But if they are consistently unhappy with one thing, it's a signal for you that there might be a problem. Do some UX research to spot and fix it. And the final thing I need to tell you is probably the most important one. Why do you need to redesign your product in the first place? Before you commit to a redesign, ask yourself, will it make the product more competitive, easier to use? Will it help me reach my strategic goals? It's not something that you're going to hear from a CEO of a design agency, but please don't redesign just because you're feeling so or want to follow a trend. If you make changes, you should recognize the purpose. Alright, that would be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you get some value out of it. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and see you in the next one.